Hi, this is Josh Wadobe. Join me Thursdays at 4 p.m. for Dollars and Cents, a show that focuses on your personal financial journey and the markets around us. That's Dollars and Cents, Thursday afternoons at 4 here on WSIC.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Welcome to Community Centered, a show that features people in the community doing good things. Now, here are your hosts, Debbie O'Handley and Margi Kyle.
And happy Tuesday, folks. Justin Ckezepis crashing the party here with the ladies of Community Centered, Miss Debbie O'Handley, Miss Margi Kyle. Good afternoon to you, ladies.
Thank you.
Good
You
afternoon,
too.
sir.
I thought I would stop in to say hello. Actually, no, I can't. I'm sorry. I'm terrible at this. You were going to have a guest, Maureen. She had to pivot, and life happens. And I was merely sitting in the lobby and said, I shall have a discussion.
So does that make you the pivot prince?
No, I don't even. Well, that's not terrible. I can play with that a little bit.
I'm kind of digging pivot prince.
You two ladies, this is actually like perfect that you do a show here because you can handle more situations between the two of you. I can only imagine the list of things you have seen. And yesterday, just an utter tragedy in the community. I mean, there's no words for it. We talked about it a little bit this morning, and it was the idea that it was a normal day. Like this wasn't like some big like terrorist thing. Like this was somebody rang a doorbell.
That's right.
Someone else then made a decision that has now changed the course of the lives of a community.
Many.
And it happened like that. You meet people that deal with this kind of stuff every day. How and why?
So this is what transition looks like, and this is what crisis looks like. You have to be able to react in the moment, but not overreact. And you have to be prepared at any minute for anything to happen. And that tragedy that happened yesterday was devastating for our community, but especially for us at Hope House. We are friends with CMPD. We've won a CMPD Community Service Award, and we do a lot of CIT training, crisis intervention training. So some of those officers or marshals could have potentially been in our presence. So it felt like family, and it really impacted us. And when you run an organization that deals with crisis and tragedy and like that every day, it's just every day. That's our everyday. Constant, absolutely constant. And for me, bring it to God. That's my first response, and then I get busy.
There's also another reality to it that I think is a part that gets shied away from. Not everybody like has a happy ending, right? Like even through, and specifically I can speak to the Hope House, right? Being on the board of the Hope House, the amount of love and attention that is given to each individual, and like little smiles, like many other organizations in our community, right? Like it's not just one. We live in a wonderful community of nonprofits that care about other people, but not everybody has a happy ending, and then it doesn't always end in rose-colored glasses of rainbows and Prosecco, right? Like it doesn't.
Absolutely.
How do you then keep going to the next person after that?
Yeah. So for me personally, what happened was this morning I had to interview a person for a spot that we have opening coming at Hope House. Tragic story. Tragic in the sense of what our community faced. She had major something happen to her. And for me, it just put up my dukes, put up my fighting, put up my advocacy for her, putting up my, we're going to win. We're going to beat this. We're going to help you get back up on your feet. So for me, I try to turn tragedy into triumph every day when I hear these stories, and I just say, I got to fight. I have to be the advocate because, we always talk about hope. What it is, it's this elusive thing that we hold on to for other people. And so I know my friend Margi is out here doing good work in our community, and I'm hopeful for her. I'm hoping that whatever service she can do today is touch someone's life. I'm hopeful that I can reach someone and make a difference in their life, just like the powerful instrument and tool we have here at the radio. We have an opportunity in front of us to be champions, to be leaders in bringing hope to our community and to share information that's powerful. And so every day I get up with that attitude thinking, what's going to happen today, God? Where are we going to land on this one? And what is my role? How do we make hope happen today? So yes, a tragedy happened. Horrible thing. How do we pick up the pieces? How do we move forward?
No, you're not asking me, right? Because I don't have the answer.
Well, I can.
I don't have the
Pivot
answer.
Prince. How would you pick up the pieces?
Gosh, and And Margie, you see littles a lot, right? Like, I mean, that's the whole,
Yeah.
that's a big concept. And I think I've got a 5-year-old son.
Yeah.
I've got a 3-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you then look to the children of the future and say, can we say we're trying right now? Like in reality, can we really say we're trying to do the best we can for them? I mean, I know y'all do, but I feel like I question myself right now in this moment, right? Like, am I really doing the best I possibly can?
I think so.
Oh, I think you are.
Yeah. I think in Margie's case, she's doing the best she can to help address something that might be out of their control, right? By putting a smile on their face with giving them a something.
Well, whatever the nurses feel they need to put a smile on their face is what we do best.
Give them a something to hold on to.
Yeah, whether it's technology, I have no idea how many iPads and laptops we give out a month.
I bet that's probably the
about-
most popular thing.
It is because kids need to be connected.
Mhm.
Well, in this world today, if you're not, and there's
Yeah.
communities that aren't. I mean, how is it in, and I'm sorry, I'm not being political. I promise I'm not being political. But policy-wise, there was a stat earlier. I'm going to throw this out there. Bill knows what I'm about to throw out there, and we don't know if it's confirmed or not. So Todd Starnes, we carry Todd Starnes, and there was an interview on there with some representative somewhere. He made the statement, and I don't know if it's true or not. I hope it is true because it's a big deal if he said this, and it's not. $95 billion that was just sent overseas. That could build the wall 12 times. I'm not talking about the wall. I'm not talking about Trump. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the principle of assisting here at home and looking in our backyard and seeing that our neighbors are hurting in different
That's
ways.
right. That's right.
Why isn't the focus back here at the big level right now?
Yep.
Like from y'all interact with the federal government. See, that's the thing. You guys interact at many different
Ooh,
levels.
Don't get me started, sir.
So why is it so broken right now, or feel broken?
I don't know. I don't know if it's just
We have no guidance. We have no leadership.
yeah.
Everybody's got an attitude.
Everybody wants to
Nobody
fight.
wants to work.
Nobody's looking for solutions.
No,
They're not.
they're angry.
So how do you then in your day look for solutions then, right? Because you have to. You both have to problem solve in that minute. Is it just true grit and like I'm gonna do this?
Just because somebody else is angry doesn't mean I have to.
Yeah.
And I try to do the opposite of what's really ticking me off. And when you're working with little children, they don't understand. They just don't understand why, if daddy doesn't have the money to do whatever, even a birthday party. We talked about with Angela the other day. But we can do it for them. We can give them the hope. You've got to surround yourself with people who are positive and can see through all this negative stuff right now. I think I said last week, Carol Burnett was in my life when I was in my 20s. And I met her. I had the pleasure of having lunch with her. And I said, Miss Burnett, what made you so She said, I always associated with better people than me. And, that's what I would say to a child. Find somebody who's better than you.
What did Carol Burnett order for lunch, Margie? You remember?
Good Lord, no.
I don't know what I ordered for lunch.
Right? Those are
Chicken
curious
salad, I
things
don't
to
know.
me. Like these are like normal, regular people. What did she order? What did she have for lunch? Did she have a cocktail? Like these
No.
are curious things,
No.
right? I would want to
when
know.
anytime somebody orders at a restaurant here and they say iced tea,
Yeah.
it's unsweet and it just feels weird.
Yeah.
Have y'all noticed that? I'm sorry, I'm choosing violence. We're talking about peacemaking in the community, and I'm choosing violence over the type of tea. So I'm so sorry.
My first tea I ordered in North Carolina came from a McDonald's that had no ice in it, and it was like a cup of hot tea, and I was like, ugh, is this what they call tea?
That's
here?
like over the pond tea, right? Isn't that what that is?
Yes.
Community centered.
Typhoon.
Justin Ckezepis dropping in on these wonderful community leaders. Thank you both.
The Prince of Pivot.
Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, staying with the warm theme across the Lake Norman area for our Tuesday. We're warming up. Plenty of sunshine today. Call it partly cloudy as we climb into the low 80s. And once we get into the afternoon, we will need to keep an eye to the sky and just for a couple of pop-up showers or even a thunderstorm possible. Not everybody gets one, and hard to say who does get one, but just kind of that summertime setup. A low chance again tomorrow, close to 90 later this week. That's your forecast for the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
The WSIC app is available now wherever you get your apps, featuring local deals from great local businesses like iCats Public Transit.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. Thursday is opening night for Langtree Live. This free concert series begins a 17-week summertime run. Event start time is 6:30 p.m. with music from U2 tribute band Rattle and Hum beginning at 7. Grab your chairs and we will see you at Langtree in Mooresville on Thursday. Mark and Maggie O'Connor return to the Kane Center for the Arts Friday for a special performance in support of their new album, Life After Life. The upcoming album reveals the pair's most sincere and deeply personal work yet. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. with a showtime at 7:30. For more information on this show and many other programs, visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Come celebrate May the 4th this Saturday at Ghostface Brewing Social District in Mooresville. There will be Star Wars-themed cosplay, memorabilia for sale, vendors, and themed music by the Langtree Charter Jazz Band. May the 4th be with you on Saturday at Ghostface. Friday and Saturday at ZMAX Dragway and Concord is the Breakaway Music Festival, Another World 2024. The festival begins at 4 p.m. on Friday and at 3 p.m. on Saturday with performances by Excision, Nightmare, Of the Trees, Sudden Death, Zomboy, and more. Details at charlottemotorSpeedway.com. Community Singers of Lake Norman present Smokin' to a Motown Beat, a choral presentation of the sounds of Motown and rock and roll. Take a musical journey back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s with hits by the Supremes, the Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, Elvis, and more. The concert features highlights from Broadway shows Motown the Musical and Smokey Joe's Cafe, along with the Mooresville High School Honors Chorus. See you at the Mooresville Performing Arts Centers on May 5th. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Now, more Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Welcome back, listeners, on this Tuesday, hanging out. Justin Ckezepis with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle, talking about the community. We talked about the tragedy that happened yesterday, which is the other part that's crazy is time moves on. That's something else we didn't talk about. But let's talk about something positive in the community right now. What are y'all seeing out there that you're absolutely just loving about, whether it's the local area or some of the decisions being made? What's some of the positive that y'all are seeing?
I love the fact that all the nonprofits are working together. I don't think any of us feels we're threatened by each other. If we can have, I mean, if Debbie calls me and says, I have a child that needs diapers, I'm there. I open my storage unit to anybody. And they're doing the same. It's a very giving community. Again, it's putting yourself in the place and with people who are what you want to be and people who are like-minded, and just walking away from the others. You can't argue with them. You're not going to win. But if you find the right people that are doing good, it helps you do even better.
I think we're coming together with a Lake Norman nonprofit expo. I think it's sponsored by the
14th.
the 14th. It's behind Birkdale.
Thank you for sending me that information. I signed up for that.
And I think it's from 11 to 1.
2.
I hope 11 to 2,
Cool.
and I hope WSIC is going to be there because it's kind of going to be a big deal. I'll send you the info.
Yeah, so whatever you,
Yeah.
If,
We have a
I mean, I
table.
can't say I'll
Yeah.
physically be there. No, I will love to be there. This is amazing.
Something should be there.
But you guys do so many events and different things. And you meet with how many people a week? Not only just doing the work of helping people, but you also in your organizations, right? Like you guys are out there talking to people about it, and there's support in other ways, right? There's
Yeah.
other people, advocates, ambassadors out there
Yeah.
for the organizations. But you also have to find this balance between like programming and then making sure that the community as a whole understands the value of nonprofits in the community.
Yeah.
How do you process that between the two concepts?
Happy dance.
That's-
It literally is like dancing on hot coals. You know, for me, I jump from interviewing a prospective resident to working with the school, with talking to some CMPD folks to help them. And then I just, on my way into the studio, got a phone call from a gentleman who said, hey, I own a catering business. It's in Charlotte, but I live in Huntersville. How can we help make Hope happen at Hope House? How can I bring things to Hope House? And how can we become partners with you? I go from, listen to a tragedy to another tragedy, but to have some good news, then to talk about partners, then to work on, businesses. And
Then to do a
corporations,
radio show.
And then to do a radio show. It's like, wow, who am I? Like this amazing opportunity every day to just really, I just throw it under the one big hope umbrella, right? Of all the different things that we're doing. Oh, my day doesn't end there. Then I have yoga and meditation tonight at Hope House, and I have a client meeting at 6:00. So it goes.
And you have a home life.
And I somewhere in there, I'm supposed to make dinner, and I don't know, maybe do a few something other things. So it's just on autopilot at this point now. I don't even question it. Do you, Margie?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I just go for it.
Yeah.
Does the world feel that way too? Does everyone you talk to seem to be in the same mode, or is it more?
No.
Is
No.
it? You think there's a difference, like in the
major.
yeah.
Yes.
in the level of passion? Is it passion? What
I
is
think
it?
we call it compassion fatigue.
Hmm.
There's a lot of folks who've just had it. They just, I can't, I don't want to hear another sad story. I can't help anymore. There's own tragedy in my own families, in my own lives. A lot of people are just burnt out from that. And I think that we went right out of COVID into like, okay, we're good. But nobody really addressed what actually was happening.
There's no decompressing on
No, none. And so I think now people are just like a balloon. Their air has been let out and they're just trying to fill themselves back up. And then you have something like what happened yesterday, right? And then the air gets let out again. So we have to find our own ways to fill ourselves back up. And that's just kind of a centering, and a going inside kind of thing. For me, going over to Hope House last night, and we've got 4 new flower beds that the Board of Health donated to us, and seeing our kids dig in the dirt and like
Having a good time,
flinging
I
it,
bet.
and
Heck yeah.
had the hose out,
Live
and
that
squirt.
life.
And I was like, yes, they're being kids digging around. And then this morning I sent pictures to the gentleman that helped us out at the Board of Health, and he said, man, that touched me.
Yeah.
And I said, these are kids. This is the first time they don't have to control anything, and they are playing in the dirt like little boys should be.
That's
with
right.
a hose.
Yeah.
Just don't squirt me.
And I grew up here in the Lake Norman area, right? So for me, like, I can't say that I've ever been homeless. I can't relate to that. So when you say I can't relate because I haven't been there, but to see the tragedy is heartbreaking. So that's such a win in a kid's life who goes from what? Sleeping in a car is probably the easy game these days. I would imagine. It probably gets much worse than that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And what's it like then for the kids that it's not the happy ending? Because there are kids that move out of the Hope House, or the program, the parent doesn't, the guest, whatever you want to call them, right? The person you're trying to help won't accept the help, won't make the change personally.
Right.
And X number of months, X number of years later, right? The relationship is tattered and torn, and it's hard. And for the kids, how do you move past every kid? How are you able to do that?
I met with a landscaper that's going to help us with our project on our new builds last Friday. And I said, this is so amazing that you want to do this and everything. He said, I was a Hope House kid. I grew up like that. And I have had more men tell me, grown men tell me that this was their life, and successful men that are now giving back or want to get involved or want to be a piece of it. And that brings me so much hope to think that who of my present day kids at Hope House are going to be that guy that 20 years from now is giving back to his community and doing exactly what this man.
Well, you set the example.
Exactly. Yeah. And, I always say to even their moms, look, the tragedy happened. Don't look back and regret. Let's just keep moving forward. Look, if we get stuck in that mud, we're going to get stuck for a long time. So we just have to keep on moving and keep looking towards the horizon for something positive to happen in their lives. So, yeah, that's what fills me up, thinking that all of those littles are going to be somebody someday.
What's it like? So twofold here. You have to deal with possibly 2 most difficult categories of nouns to deal with. And I say nouns because people are very difficult to deal with. The government is also very difficult to deal with too.
You
How
are-
you do
you
that?
are tempting me. You
I
want
am.
me to
I
say
know.
something. You
Because-
Opening up a can of worms.
See, this is the cool thing is that I get to hang out with Debbie outside of the radio station, being on the board with the Hope House, and so like these are real conversations
Very
that,
real.
and there's these, and this is just being honest. There's a lot of great nonprofits. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot, but very few people are willing to come in and have these type of conversations like you ladies are willing to have
Yeah.
week in and week
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
In the nonprofit space, in the partnership space, and look, it's not about who's doing what better because everyone's doing stuff together. But how do we encourage more? I don't want to say acceptance of failure because I don't think it's failure. I think it's opportunity, and it's cheesy almost to say though, right? And how do you
Sure.
even get past that conversation of the terms of affordable housing?
Yeah.
Let's talk about affordable housing right
Please
now,
let's
Miss
not.
O'Hanley.
'Cause
Let's
there's-
discuss it.
There is no such thing. Let's talk about attainable. Let's change the
Ooh,
word to
okay.
attainable housing.
Okay.
How can we get folks to be able to attain the dream to living how they want to live? Whether that be market rent, owning their own home, living in a clean, safe environment, that's attainable. Affordable for who? Could you please define who are we using that parameter for? Who is this affordable for? Nobody. So let's change the word, let's change the narrative. And for me, to answer your original question, I subscribe to a philosophy called control the controllables. I can't control things that are out of my control, like decisions federal governments are making, like decisions grantees or grantors are making, or decisions that other folks make. I cannot control that. I can control what I can impact and what I can do about it. So as far as the federal government goes, I believe that the program that we've built is a national model because it works, because I have seen it take people out of poverty and put them in a place where housing is now attainable. They have attained it because of what it is that we do. Would I love for someone from DC to come by and listen and have a conversation with me? Absolutely. But you know what? Unless you are the voice of the impact and you know what you're doing, people aren't really willing to listen. They just want to fight. They just want to have conversations.
Are there real solutions being put on the table in the levels of government that you guys are seeing, or is it all a facade?
I don't see anything. I personally don't. I mean, I'm not going to say anything.
I'm
'cause
sorry. I know,
I'm not going to be. I'm going to get in a lot of trouble if I
was this
say-
close. You
did.
see that? I
He
had
almo-
her.
He almost said it.
Bait and hook.
But I looked over to Margie, and Margie was kind of like
Yeah.
giving me the axe, and I was like, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to take the bait.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I wouldn't either.
So in the construct of the game that you have to play,
Mm-hmm.
where are you seeing the true real passion from people? Like what side of it? Is it the vendor donor? Is it there's these humanitarian efforts happening all over and it's just private organizations everywhere? Where are you seeing it at? Is it grant writing? Because you also write grants throughout the day. We haven't even talked about grant
I
writing
do
yet.
that too. I'm not seeing it.
Mm.
I'm not seeing it. There are very passionate people out here who are living their passion and living their mission. Margie, case in point. Margie had a tragedy. She turned it into a purpose, and she turned it into a drive and an advocacy for children in need, in a bad situation. That's purpose-driven passion she has. And then there are lots of folks out there who are just kind of going through the motions, right, of doing what they're doing. But there are really good people in our community that are really living, breathing their mission and doing that work and just trying to make a difference. And for that, I am deeply grateful to be in partnership with those folks, but I wish there was more.
There's a lot of people moving here right now too. I don't know if
Yeah.
people really understand the gravity of how many people are truly in this local community now. The numbers are kind of crazy.
The numbers are, from what I'm hearing, real estate is crazy, but it's still hot in Cornelius.
It's just everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not even just real estate, just coming and going and everything else and projects and all right.
So we're going to have to take a quick break.
Real
We'll be
quick.
back. Stay with us.
Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, staying with the warm theme across the Lake Norman area for our Tuesday. We're warming up. Plenty of sunshine today. Call it partly cloudy as we climb into the low 80s. And once we get into the afternoon, we will need to keep an eye to the sky, and just for a couple of pop-up showers or even a thunderstorm possible. Not everybody gets one, and hard to say who does get one, but just kind of that summertime setup. A low chance again tomorrow, close to 90 later this week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owed the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-517-9383. That's 800-517-9383. 800-517-9383.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
What if you could wake up pain-free so you can leave the stress behind and conquer your day? Serenity Now Massage Therapy. 2 locations in Mooresville and Cornelius. Or book your next massage at SerenityNowMassageAndWellness.com.
The 2024 Small Business Event is coming back to WSIC. Join us May 1st from 6 to 9 p.m. with over 10 local entrepreneurs and business leaders sharing stories and experiences that led them to where they are today. Listen live on WSIC or watch on your mobile device in the WSIC app. It's the 2024 Small Business Event, one night only, May 1st from 6 to 9 p.m. Only on WSIC. Local starts here.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Because of the skyrocketing costs of providing health care and difficulties trying to get reimbursed by insurance companies, Walmart is now shutting down its network of 51 low-cost health clinics that had opened in 5 states. It's also closing down its telehealth business. It's just too costly. On Wall Street, stocks sharply lower today, on track to wrap up the worst month of the year so far after consumer confidence plunged this month to a 2-year low. And higher wages are stoking fears about higher inflation, just as the Fed begins a 2-day meeting on interest rates with a decision out on Tuesday. Right now, the Dow is down 1%, the Nasdaq a little more than 1%, the S&P 500 0.9% lower. Macy's telling its corporate employees be in the office 2 days a week or face disciplinary charges. And after McDonald's posted weaker than expected sales growth last quarter, it's now planning to go big. It's testing out a bigger burger, bigger than the quarter pounder at select locations. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Community Centered continues now. Here are your hosts, Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, listeners. Justin Ckezepis has invaded the space of Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle as you're listening to Community Centered. And we are here discussing very light topics. Nothing of substance, nothing deserving of attention, just mere shenanigans on a Tuesday afternoon. So how do we solve world peace, ladies?
Oh. Well,
Come, Jesus, come.
yeah.
There is but one answer.
There is only one answer. Can I ask you a few questions?
Oh, wow. Okay,
Mr.
yes. Yeah. Excuse me, yes.
So, where did this love of the microphone or
Mm.
radio come from, or where is that head?
That's a great question. So 2008, I began attending Appalachian State University.
Okay.
But I'd visited there the summer before. You do the tour, right? You get you learn about the kid. What is your thing going to be? Really, for me, I applied to a college that did not require a written essay. And that's why I applied to App at the time. They did not require a written essay. I would not get into App, by the way, today. Let me be very clear about that. Probably by the standards that they have now. And I tour the campus and I get introduced to the radio station. And it was just at a time where high school for me and locally, right? Because I went to Hopewell High School. This community is very blessed. We didn't really want for much here in general, right? Because if you this community is geared toward protecting itself locally, like it's very relationship driven. Like if you're
Absolutely.
not from the lake, not even from, but like if you're not truly showing that you're involved in, like, oh my gosh, I was like, what is going on? Oh my gosh. If you're not truly like involved and invested in the community, it's very hard to last long term here. It's just the reality of it. And because it's a great place to live and
Absolutely.
people want to protect what they've got.
Mhm.
It's really, sorry, I'm going to tangent for a second here. If we really want to talk about racism, it's been going on since the very first people, because people have been enslaving each other since the
Biblical.
very beginning of
Mhm.
time. But anyway, I digress, if I remember even where I'm at right now. So I get involved with the radio station at App State, and I don't know, there's just something about connecting the one-on-one, like this audibly sensory and social psychology, right? Like in your ear to your brain that travels in through your body, and it's amazing what God has done with the human body too, by the way, but that's a different conversation. I brought up evolutionism versus creationism on the morning show the other day. That was really fun. I got yelled at a little bit. No, I didn't get yelled
I
at.
am sure you did. So I don't know how happy this would make Dan to be putting that out there, but he got some hearing aids.
Oh, did he really?
This past
Good for
week.
him.
But it's fascinating how they can only be set at 70% because you can't take the brain to all the way to 100%. And then the other, he can answer his phone through
Bluetooth technology.
It's
Neuralink.
incredible on your phone
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you can do now.
Yeah.
And I just think all of this whole technology thing that you have is fascinating, and what you're doing for the station and for our community is really something to, your energy, your drive, your mission. When you talk about Margie and I loving our passion of what we do, you love what you do.
Yeah.
You're doing you in this space, and that's a powerful thing because people are listening and people are taking notice of that. And I think, for a dude who was, driving around the neighborhood shooting paintball around.
Dang, she called us out, Bill.
Yes,
She just called us out.
I just went there to somebody who landed in his dream.
Sure.
To be doing this, right? I mean, you're a talented guy. You were an attorney. You were like, I've done an attorney. I'm going to put that aside, and now I'm going to do the radio station thing. Is really commendable.
See, I appreciate that. I want to tell Demi you said that, because some would consider me being heartless and not having any emotional attachment to anything and just going to the next.
So
But
we're not getting into diagnosing here.
no, because that's what you do during your day, though.
Yes,
You also have to wear many hats. And I don't know, there's just something about this day and time, being alive right now in this day and time.
Mm-hmm.
How can you not say that we weren't all created for the particular purpose of this time, given the uniqueness of this time in general compared to the rest of the history of the world?
Oh, we absolutely were. I mean, when I talked to the individual today, it's an individual we're going to place in one of our new builds, and she said, this moment was meant for me. This home was meant for me. But I wouldn't have said that 2 years ago. I would have never visioned or seen myself having to go to a transitional homeless shelter because that wasn't my situation. But now God removed all the barriers and made all of this happen. And she has an opportunity now to transform her life. But that happened in this moment. So we all are living in this moment, waiting for the next moment to happen. And I just feel like we don't know what that's going to be. We wake up every morning with an expectation of, well, what's going to happen next?
And waking up with an expectation of purpose, in that if you are breathing air, you are above, the ground. It is for a reason, regardless of your circumstance, situation, what you were born into, which none of us can control.
Right.
You still have purpose.
Absolutely.
Because I think like to tragedy and things like that. Like, yeah, I mean, there's tough days, right? Don't get me wrong, but you think imagine I've been born into Israel right now, or Iraq, or Pakistan, or Africa. The tragedies in what's going on in Africa right now is nothing short of horrendous. But what's going on in our own backyard too,
Yeah.
in our own community, and so it's a matter of perspective, right? Like no matter where you're at, there's a little girl in Iran right now who just had the best day of her life because
Right.
she got something, whatever, or some interaction of some sort, right? And it's a matter of perspective based on what she was born into in that life. I do believe we can all live our best life. I truly believe that.
You know what? That's what hope is. We're all hoping that we can live our best lives in any moment. Can I share something really cool?
You can do whatever you want.
Something really, really special?
Is that what that feels like when I say like, "Hey, can I ask you something without offending"? Is that what that moment was right there? Okay, all right.
Feels like that. So big news. I'm gonna be a glammy.
Oh, fire 'em! I'm hitting them. I'm hitting them.
Yes. My first.
Wait, I just took your thunder. You push it. Sorry.
I
You-
know.
Oh,
No,
I
that's
did.
okay.
Sorry, I got so excited.
But you know what? So when we talk about all of this negative and tragedy and all that other stuff, I have to be hopeful because I have a future coming.
Yeah.
And a future and an opportunity to lean into, to pray into, to love into. For me, that's the most hopeful thing that I'm clinging to. And just to say that, what an opportunity. People have told me like, wait, you're a grandparent. I'm like a grandparent at Hope House already, right? Some of the kids even call me Nana or whatever. But to know that that's gonna my lineage, my child is gonna have a child, incredible.
It is beautiful.
Such a blessing. I can't. But we've been having fun with the names. Like, what do I want to be called? Who am I gonna be? And I'm like, who am I gonna be?
When does life begin?
Oh, listen, there is an app now. I don't know for anybody who my daughter has this app downloaded, and every Monday we get the update of what this child is
Thing.
equivalent to in a fruit or a vegetable. So this week we're a pomegranate.
Ooh.
And it has hair, eyes, can hear, can suck its thumb. I'm like, you're 17 weeks. This is fascinating to me that we know this much technology. When I was pregnant, it was like, oh, you know what? You're going to wait 9 months and then you're going to be surprised.
Why was I throwing up again?
Yes, right? So, I mean, it's fascinating to me that this is happening. Her husband will come home and say, how was your day? She goes, I grew a spleen today. I'm like, oh, good God. How do you know? But this is amazing what technology can do. And speaking of apps, doesn't WSIC have a
We
a
do.
new
You
app?
ladies are featured on that app. Your Community Centered is a on-demand show on the
I
WSIC News app.
know. It's
And now I will be living in that timeline now
Yes, you
forever.
will.
So there you go.
There you go. But technology is incredible. And I just think it's just a powerful, powerful tool that we have. And, this microphone is a powerful tool to do good.
I
We
think
can do
people want
good.
to talk though. Like I think that's the part of it too that
just people
inspires me
need
is
to
we
talk.
need to talk. Like, and I get looking at screens and utilizing that to talk.
Yes.
I get that. You can do
Yes.
that in your day, but look up every once in a while. You know, like
Well, and I think that's part of the problem is there was no interaction for 4 years because of COVID.
Yeah.
it's a big old Band-Aid to rip off, right?
Yeah.
So I follow Brene Brown. She's fabulous. And, we're at the dawn of the AI and everything. She calls it artificial intimacy. That what telephones and technology have done to us, we are missing that
Yeah.
one-on-one conversation like we're having with each other
That's
right
right.
now, making eye contact, talking to each other, reading body language. We don't do that on our phones. And so we have an epidemic of artificial intimacy happening right now. And we just have to start a campaign every now and then and put your phone down.
Yeah.
Or maybe at dinner time, put your phone down so that we can just begin to relate and talk to each other. And,
Well, and I think that's the one good thing that came out of COVID is Zoom.
yeah, that was a tool that could
Yeah.
be used for good, where we were able to connect with folks.
I just had 30 people last Sunday for Lee's celebration of life
on Zoom.
On Zoom.
Isn't that wild?
And it was wonderful because you could see their expression.
Yes.
From all around the world. Didn't matter where they were.
It didn't because he came from Canada.
Mm.
So a lot of his Canadian relatives were on there.
And that's using it for good.
Yeah.
And
it was amazing. Everybody loved it.
That's cool.
You know,
Yeah.
radio is really good too because you know what my mom always said?
What?
I have a face for radio.
Oh.
More community centered, just around the corner.
There's more Community Centered with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on the way from 105.9 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, staying with the warm theme across the Lake Norman area for our Tuesday. We're warming up. Plenty of sunshine today. Call it partly cloudy as we climb into the low 80s. And once we get into the afternoon, we will need to keep an eye to the sky just for a couple of pop-up showers or even a thunderstorm possible. Not everybody gets one, and hard to say who does get one, but just kind of that summertime setup. A low chance again tomorrow, close to 90 later this week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Thursday is opening night for Langtree Live. This free concert series begins a 17-week summertime run. Event start time is 6:30 p.m. with music from U2 tribute band Rattle and Hum beginning at 7. Grab your chairs and we will see you at Langtree in Mooresville on Thursday. Mark and Maggie O'Connor return to the Kane Center for the Arts Friday for a special performance in support of their new album, Life After Life. The upcoming album reveals the pair's most sincere and deeply personal work yet. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. with a showtime at 7:30. For more information on this show and many other programs, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Come celebrate May the 4th this Saturday at Ghostface Brewing Social District in Mooresville. There will be Star Wars-themed cosplay, memorabilia for sale, vendors, and themed music by the Langtree Charter Jazz Band. May the 4th be with you on Saturday at Ghostface. Friday and Saturday at ZMAX Dragway and Concord is the Breakaway Music Festival Another World 2024. The festival begins at 4 p.m. on Friday and at 3 p.m. on Saturday with performances by Excision, Nightmare, Of the Trees, Sudden Death, Zomboy, and more. Details at charlottemotorspeedway.com. Community Singers of Lake Norman present Smokin' to a Motown Beat, a choral presentation of the sounds of Motown and rock and roll. Take a musical journey back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s with hits by the Supremes, the Four Tops, Stevie Wonder, Elvis, and more. The concert features highlights from Broadway shows Motown the Musical and Smokey Joe's Cafe, along with the Mooresville High School Honors Chorus. See you at the Mooresville Performing Arts Centers on May 5th. To keep up with all the events happening around the community and much more, including amazing local deals, download the WSIC News app today.
Call 844-STUDIO-4 now to join the community-centered discussion with Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Welcome back, community listeners, to Community Centered, the show focusing on the community. Featuring Debbie O'Hanley and Margi Kyle. Justin Ckezepis merely here for a moment, and then continuing on the rabbit hole of the day.
I wish you could have seen Margie's face.
Is that pretty good?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
So we've also forgot to talk about that one of the many hats that you both wear, like event organization organizers. You guys also do a lot of that too in the community to actually be in the community.
Oh yeah.
Anything coming up in the next couple of days?
Yeah. May 24th, we have Big Al's is having, I guess it's our annual now because it's the second one golf tournament.
Congratulations.
Yeah. And that will be at Westport in Denver.
Ooh.
So if you want to sign up for it, all you have to do is call Big Al's at 704-987-6582.
Okay.
And they'll sign you up.
That's your second golf tournament you do. Don't you do one in the
we
fall
just
at
had one
Millstone?
last week.
Yeah.
And
doubling up on golf tournaments.
then we have this, and then in October 16th, we have the Dino Open.
Yeah.
And that was for Dino, who was our president, who passed away very suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's a lot of golf. You play golf still, Margie?
No.
We're
too slow.
We're doing our neighborhood tag sale, yard sale this weekend.
There
I
you
was
go.
thinking about selling my clubs.
Gosh. Why?
sad.
You don't want to
I
play
haven't
ever again?
swung them in. No, I just haven't. Who has time? But
Yeah, it's too slow.
yeah, I don't know. But it's hard to give those up.
Golf tournaments are pretty popular in the area. Golf courses are popular in the area.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of
Top golf. There's always that.
Top
too.
golf?
Yeah. Maybe that's what I need
Is
to
golf
do.
therapeutic, would you say, or is it the reverse?
Oh, it does not bring out the lady in me. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nope, you do not want to play with Miss Debbie. It's not pretty.
Oh.
I've been known to embarrass myself before, but no. I don't know. Maybe I'll hang on to them. That's one of those things that they're really not taking up too much space. So why not blow the dust off?
You got to have something in the garage, right? Like you can't have. Or are you a clean garage? Do you want a clean garage, nothing in it?
Oh no, there's a lot of stuff that gets donated to Hope House that comes to our house to be fixed or whatever, blah blah blah, and then I have to hear at the garage. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there.
What's it like when you meet somebody who you've had a little bit of interaction with, but they're showing up at a place that they are now going to embark on a new journey of their life, and they've literally got everything they own in that one mode of transportation when they arrive?
Can I tell a funny story?
You can tell whatever you want.
So we interviewed a young lady once who showed up who was living homeless. She had on the white socks with flip-flops, but she had a business jacket on and jeans and a T-shirt. And I looked into her car when she pulled up, and it was loaded all the way to the top, front seat, back seat. And in the back seat, on the very top of the pile, was a framed picture of Jesus, the 8x10, right? That we all recognize,
The
right?
classic
Jesus
one,
in the
right?
beer,
Yeah.
right?
The sun glowing behind?
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. Yeah.
So she came in, she interviewed, and we asked a lot of questions that are sometimes really hard. And she had been through a lot of loss. A lot of folks had died in her life, which sort of led her to becoming homeless. So I said to her, I walked her out to her car when we were finished, and I said to her, "Can I ask you a question?" And she said, "What's that?" And I said, "Why is Jesus in the back seat? If you're going through this, why is he not buckled up in your front seat with the seatbelt across him, and you'd be talking to him and praying to him and asking him, how am I going to get out of this situation?" And she said, "I never thought about doing that." So she took him from the pile, and she put him in front of the front seat and put a seatbelt.
Buckled him up.
Buckled him up.
Buckle up, Jesus.
So we call him front seat Jesus. So
I prefer to put him in the driver's seat, right? That if you strapped him and just with autonomous driving now, right? That'll be a meme one day.
That'll
You'll
work.
see that.
So about 2 weeks later, she called me back when we had an opening, and I talked to her, and I said, we're prepared to offer you space. She goes, "Oh," she goes, "I didn't tell you. I don't need it." She said, "Ever since I put Jesus in the front seat, I got my life back. I got my job back. I found some money. This happened. I'm getting an apartment." So we love to tell the front seat Jesus story because here was Jesus just sort of toppled in the back on top of her entire life, which who knows what it was, bags and bags and bags of clothes and papers and everything. And I just said to her, and I never even thought about the impact it would make to say to her, just put him in the front seat for heaven's sakes and tell him what your worries are. And so that was one of our good front seat Jesus. She didn't need us because Jesus was in the front seat with her. I think about that today. I wonder where she is, and I wonder what happened to her in her life. But that's what brings me motivation and glory to be able to know that her life got changed by one little thing.
Well, one of the exciting things going on for the Hope House being the new builds in Norman Park area, so kind of behind Hopewell, right? There's some builds happening that are designed for the model that help people go back into the world, right? Because it's kind of like a reset. That's what the programming is.
Yeah, transformational.
And so you mentioned, hey, there's a process to it, and you want to see them all the way through. So the programming side, because your brain and the abilities you've got, I would say in the programming world are unlike and unmatched. What's like the final outcome? Like, when do you know somebody's ready? Like, no matter all the different steps you go through with somebody, when do you know?
It's a proud moment when I brought the family that's going to go into the Journey House, a mom with 3 kids, and she opened up the front door and she said, "Oh, this is amazing, but I already know where I'm going after this. I already see my house. I already know the builder. I already know the area. So this is great. This is going to get me there." And I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute. Slow down. Let's just get through this piece of it first." But she was like, "No, I already know." So for me, and she's been with us a bit, I knew that she had now learned the ability and the skill to dream, to look to the future. And so I knew that was the right placement for that home, for Journey. And then today we met the family that's going to go encourage. So these are the blessings that I have in my life to watch that transformation happen. And we do it one family at a time. I have an audience of one. Even though there's 23 women and 15 children right now whose lives we're impacting, I'm going after the one who wants this opportunity, and I'm just going to just sink my all into it. And I know that there's beautiful people in our community, like the landscaping guy that I met with last week, like Margie, who are going to help me with some paint colors and decoration. The woman that we're going to place in Courage, I haven't even told Margie this yet, is she was an interior designer.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
And so she's looking forward to refinding her passion
Yeah, good. I
and
can help
learning.
her.
And that's already brought her joy today,
Mhm.
knowing that that's something she's going to be able to do. So, there's just so good when good things happening when you see the good in that.
Yeah.
And having the community come alongside of you and say, well, we can, hey, I got a dishwasher. Hey, I've got a this, I've got a that. And even she had a brand new toilet still in the box and a shower door that she said, I can donate that. I'm like, hey, she's already participating in her own transformation. So it's all good. So thank you for helping us make that happen,
No,
Mr.
it's
Pivot Prince.
it's I don't know. It's when you see just one move at a time being made, and I would imagine there's been a lot of moves that have been made in the nonprofit community that you've seen over the years because you have a nonprofit background way before even here.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that it comes down to the sheer will of the individual to keep going, or can it be quantified to anything deeper within us that some people just don't have it? Is that okay to say?
I think it takes will and skill. So the skill set is easy, right? That's what we teach. We give them resources. We teach them how to do things. That's the skill. But the will is the drive. That's the hardest. There's not a whole lot of will.
How do you rebuild that?
Encouragement, empowerment, getting behind people, telling them that, they can do this, and suddenly allowing them to see themselves transform and giving them a permission slip to be able to dream again. That's what the will looks like. The skill set is easy, but it's really not. You know what I'm saying? Like we're teaching that can, as a teacher, that can be really a difficult thing to do but some folks come with skill already. They just don't have the will. Some folks come with will. They just need the skill. Very few come with the skill and the will. And when we do, that's like a moment where we're like, yes, this one is going to be easy. And we have one right now. So that's our little gift that we have as a person with both of those attributes.
How many calls you get in a week these days?
In a day?
Or a week?
A day, about today before I left, we had 13, and we had 8 inquiries off the website.
And by calls, I know I'm referring to inquiries as to how can the Hope House be of assistance to them? How can they find other assistance within the community elsewhere with other partners that are great and help out?
Yep.
And so that's a single day and a single week. So you extrapolate that over time. Are you seeing a upward trajectory of calls?
Oh, most definitely, yes. And higher eviction rates. Multiple evictions. We have one individual at Hope House now with 7 evictions. I mean, I don't even know how some of these things happen. So yes, and we're starting to see things trend again with older women.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Starting to see a little bit of increase in the over 50 losing their jobs, losing their careers, rent too high, getting evicted. Single women. Yep.
Locally?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Right now, on West Ckezepis, there are more people living in the woods than there are banks.
I've heard that. Yeah.
That people, it's just not prevalent, right? We go uptown and we're like, oh yeah, there's a homeless person. We drive down West Ckezepis and we're like, there's nobody living in those woods. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. So, and there's a migration coming in to our community too. So,
you're seeing it?
Oh yeah. Living it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We have to build a Hope House too. So, Mr. Radio, it's been a pleasure today. This has been super fun. How about you, Margie? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fun having the tables turned on us, right? A little bit.
Well, I think you ladies do such a good job of even coming in here, and really what your show is you're showcasing the other wonderful things of the community, but I know both of you are doing wonderful things in the community too, and that deserves to be highlighted as well. And everybody should go listen to all the episodes and all the podcasts on demand, or watch the video and learn more about the Hope House and learn more about Little Smiles and that there is hope in the community.
That's
and
right.
Jesus loves you.
That's
pretty much
amen.
it.
Just remember front seat Jesus.
When in doubt.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. This has been a pleasure. And Margie, I will see you next week, right?
Yes, you will.
Yeah. Lord willing.